My name's Ollie Pendered. I'm the Chief Exec of Community Energy South. I'm also a Director of Community Energy England and have the honour of attending Community Energy England meeting. I also chair a regional support group infrastructure panel for energy in the Greater Brighton region, and was one of the founding directors of Riding Sunbeams, which is an initiative working with the railways. You'll see up on the screen here a picture of award winners from Community Energy England Award last year, it just shows the diversity and the reach that we get into communities across the country. So a little bit about Community Energy South. We were established in 2013 following the Community Energy Peer Mentoring Programme, which was run by BEIS and the Cabinet Office. And we helped mentor and help set up together with 12 other groups. And during that process, the groups asked or suggested that we set up an umbrella group for the Southeast, which has become a voice for the region, working with Community Energy England. And also our mission has really been to support community energy sector and develop partnerships. And I'll cover a little bit of that in the next 10 minutes. So this is 2018, 2019, what the community energy sector looks like in the southeast of England. And it just gives you a feel of the reach. And we spend a lot of time looking at maps and communities and seeing who's who. So the green dots are community energy groups. The red dots are energy champions that are out in the community advising vulnerable people, normally through the big energy saving network and giving energy advice. And the purple dots are a program that we've been running called Faith and Power, that I know a number of groups in London also run. And that's just been a fascinating journey, just supporting other hard to reach groups. Something that's really inspired us is the school projects. And I'm just going to dwell on this very quickly. This map, we did some work with Community Energy South and 12 community energy groups in the Southeast, looking at community energy school projects, solar projects. And this was up to the end of last year, so it didn't take us up to the end of the feed-in tariff. So it covered 84 schools, over 4 megawatts and 60,000 kids that are supported by community energy. And you can see this report on our website. I'd love to see this covered for the whole of the country. We must cover an awful lot of schools and solar, and educating the next generation is really important to all of us. But this gives us a lot of faith. We know how different school projects are, or difficult they are, from leases to licenses, to all the engagement and the work that community energy groups put in. And it just goes to show that we can scale up over time. This is over a 7-year period, and it gives us a lot of faith in new markets. So partnerships for the sector across the region. I'm just going to cover local industrial strategy and regional energy hubs and what that means for community energy. A little bit on the decarbonisation of transport, decarbonisation of the water sector, working with our electricity network operators and DSOs, and a little bit about local authorities. So as you all may know, or some of you may not, the country is now supported by 5 regional energy hubs. So where I'm speaking from, I'm in the Greater Southeast Energy Hub, and the hubs are supported themselves by the local enterprise partnerships, of which there are 38 in the country. Now, energy strategies were developed last year in all of those LEPs, supported by Department for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. And those action plans, energy plans, will now form part of the local industrial strategy plans. And from the discussions that we're having within the region, in supporting the economy to get up and running after the coronavirus, these local industrial strategy funds will be really important. And I urge the community energy sector to keep an eye out for that and how your projects can be named in those strategies and engage with the energy hubs. Recently, the Department for Transport issued the Decarbonisation Transport Strategy, and I'm very proud to say that riding sunbeams and the community energy sector were listed in that strategy from the Department for Transport. And for those of you who know about riding sunbeams, there's a lot of work from Community Energy South and our partner Possible, formerly 1010, in establishing riding sunbeams and support for decarbonising the railways through the energy hubs, and working with Network Rail, so in all the LEPs. So one stream of work that Community Energy South have been looking at, sort of growing support for community energy across the sector, has been working with the water companies in the southeast of England. Now, the water companies are a regulated business. Ofwat has just taken them through their recent price period called PR19, and the outcome of PR19 was that water companies now have targets to transition to renewable energy. And at Community Energy South, we feel that this is a good link for community energy, and we should be engaging with water companies, not least because they are regulated to care for the environment, keep the water flowing, and connect with every household and support vulnerable customers. And there really is an overlap with the community energy sector, and we can help on that journey, particularly towards social impact. And then, of course, there's our network distribution, district network operators on their way to becoming DSOs. And I'm sure across the country, I don't need to tell you, but it's really important to engage with them. We have a strategy towards what we call smart communities. So linking up with UK Power Networks, who we see a very important partner in the Southeast, particularly around energy awareness, renewables and innovation, and of course, education. And that's a partnership that works really well for us and the sector going forward with innovation and smart networks. Okay, so local authorities. With our roots within Community Energy South for mentoring groups, this year, over the last 6 months, we've established a pathway to community energy. So we linked up with Essex County Council, who have spent a lot of time successfully being awarded the last of the EU funding and the RDF funding, and looking at citizen projects in energy. And as a council, they have a climate emergency target and are taking climate emergency very seriously. So we've been looking at mapping in Essex, where historically there are very few community energy groups, and this has been a really successful project. And we've managed to map groups and start networking those interested in creating their own energy within their communities. And I'm excited to say that we'll soon be starting a similar program across the South Downs National Park, and having those discussions in Hampshire with Hampshire County Council as well, who see the value of engaging with their communities and climate emergency plans. So a little bit about our sponsors today, and then I will pass you on to Emma, who's going to give us the vision of Community Energy England. So our main sponsor today is Co-op Community Energy. Mid-Counties Cooperative and Octopus Energy signed a strategic energy partnership in August 2019, which saw Octopus take ownership and responsibility for the management and supply of energy for 300,000 customers formerly supplied by Co-op Community Energy, Co-op Energy, Flow and GB Energy. Part of this strategic partnership included the creation of Co-op Community Energy, a joint venture between Mid-Counties Cooperative and Octopus Energy. Co-op Community Energy aims to provide vital support for community generation across Great Britain, drive investments in local communities and pay generators a fair price for the power they produce. And I welcome Tom Hoynes in the second session after our tea break for the Managing Director of Co-op Energy, Community Energy, who will be chairing the second session. We're also sponsored by Ricardo, who's been instrumental, as you will know, supports the CARES programme in Scotland and also works with the Energy Saving Trust in the Welsh Assembly in Wales with community energy. Ricardo is a renewable energy development company that looks to support communities and community energy across the UK. And in the Southeast, we've been working with them on a number of rural community energy fund projects and other development projects. And finally, I'd just like to remind you about Community Energy England. And if you're not signed up, to sign up to their newsletter and the importance of them lobbying the UK. So without further ado, I just remind you of a quote from the Dalai Lama. If you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. And we're all joining up. It's very exciting today. I wish you a good day and keep the questions going. And without further ado, I'll pass over to Emma.